Justin here, smokineaglesrodshop, and today we're going to be building a burn barrel. Now originally I was going to hide down in here and jump out and scare you, but I'm just too fat for that. Stick around, it's going to be barrels of fun. Alright, yeah. Trying to get out of this thing. I need better ideas. On wrenching. So for this project, I've kind of got everything drug out that I think we're going to need. I've got an old barrel that I acquired for free. I've got some, I guess they're cooling coils out of the back of an old refrigerator. I'm going to use them. Oops. I'm going to use them to put a shelf in here to allow all the ash to fall down below so we can clean the bottom out. And then I've got some rebar here to use to hold that up. I've got a little bit of rebar here that I can use to make a handle, something like that. And I've got a hinge here for our door on the bottom. Now, guys have been using burn barrels since the invention of the burn barrel. I know they're not technically burn barrels, they're used to hold other crap, but these barrels actually work just the way they are. I can just throw garbage in here and light it on fire. I mean, when you go watch a homeless man stand around a burn barrel, he didn't drill holes in it and weld a bunch of crap to it and do anything fancy. He just threw a bunch of crap in there, lit it on fire, and stood there. So you don't have to do any of this stuff. So I don't know, just trying to improve on something that already works, I guess. Anyway, my plan is put one of these grates in the bottom of here. Up about yay high. I got this nice rib here so I don't even really have to measure nothing. Put it right across there like that. Put a door in the side so I can shovel the crap out of the bottom of it. And then I've got this big, heavy, I believe this is a sheet of titanium or something, that's been water jetted a bunch of parts out of. I don't know where it came from. It's here when I bought the place. And I'm going to use it for a top. And you can cook cheeseburgers on that if you really wanted to, but I'm going to be burning trash in this, so I'm probably not going to be doing that. At least not for anybody that I care about. But yeah, that's a really nice top. Now, if you don't have something like this laying around, like I happen to have, you can go to, like, I know our Rural King has a top, but they're like 40 bucks, I mean, for a grill grate. I mean, you'll cut you some out of the back of an old refrigerator on the side of the road. They won't miss it. So the game plan here is, like I said, I'm going to put that shelf in there. I'm also going to cut a door in here. So we're also going to need some air holes. So where my door's not at, I'm going to put a couple of holes around the bottom, up a little ways. And I'm also going to drill a few holes in the bottom, just so water and stuff can get out when it gets rained. Around. A lot of people use drills, chisels. I've seen people chiseling holes in them and all kinds of other crazy stuff. Pretty lucky, I got a welder and I got a plasma. So I'm just going to plasma some holes in it. I thought about taking this out and shooting some holes in it with the gun. That'd give me a reason to play around with my guns, but I didn't know. I guess if I should really do that. Look at that. Keep myself occupied already. That's kind of cool. Look at that. I'm like a professional burn barrel builder. Probably ought to do something productive at some point. Now I want to suspend this grate right across above this rib because that's going to give it a little support. And my big plan for doing that is just run 2 pieces of rebar right through the barrel. Boom and boom. Now I just took a tape measure and I went down the barrel like this. Looks kind of straight. I marked it up here at the top, marked it down there at the bottom. I marked it right above the rib where I wanted to have the center, I guess. And then I just went with what looked kind of normal. I'm thinking about 6 inches. So I marked 6 inches here and 6 inches over there. Now I'm going to flip the barrel over 180. All I've got to do is lift it up like this. I'm going to go straight off my mark on that side and go to the largest point. So like here I'm at like 22 and a half, 23, 23 and a half is as big as it gets. So I know that is going to be roughly straight across. So I mark it. Oh man, I just marked myself in the face with this marker. I'm going to look like an idiot now. Same thing over here. Go off my mark. Go over here, find my 23. Kind of look down there and see where my little mark is. Get it kind of close. Now I can go from mark to mark, like before. I'm just going to mark right above that rib and 6 inches this way. Now I should be able to blast 4 holes in this and then cut our rebar in half. It should go right through. Get back here. Little bigger. Perfect. Stand this baby up. Perfect. Perfection. So this is what we have. A perfect little shelf. All we've got to do is cut our grate to fit down in there. So all I'm going to do is just cut, until it'll fit right down in there. So here we go, just a couple of minutes with the torch. Cut that. We got a perfect little grill grate. Now I have another one of these, so I'm going to cut it real quick so I have a spare for whenever this barrel goes bad. I've already got another one just sitting there waiting, because this eventually is going to rust out because all those pipes are hollow. But hey, it's free. Use what you got. All right, guys. Now I thought about welding these rebar crossbars in here, but I decided not to do that because the ribs kind of lock it in place, and if this burn barrel rusts out and these big chunks of rebar are still good, I want to be able to just pull them out and slide them in the next barrel. Now I've marked out the sides of the door that I want to put in here. It's big enough to get a small shovel in there, probably a flat shovel. And yeah, I've seen people try and use the tape measure to make a straight line across there, which, you know, our line doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut it with a plasma, so it's probably not going to be anywhere close anyway. But a quick way that you can actually make an accurate line is with a piece of electrical tape. You can go from one edge to the other and then tear your tape, or you can just make your line remove your tape, make your next line. Now electrical tape is stretchy, so you want to make sure, depending on how nice and straight you want your line to really be, you don't stretch your tape. That might stick enough. Now we've got a nice straight line connecting our lines there, and then I'll just tear this off, throw this in the trash. Now I've seen a lot of people struggle with getting their doors to line up and things of that nature. Now I'm going to show you the quick trick that I've learned off some other YouTuber. I don't even remember when, how, or what. But basically I'm going to take the plasma and I'm going to cut this line first, which is going to be our hinge side. Then I'm going to throw our hinge on here, and you can use sheet metal screws or whatever, but I've already got these holes in the welder, so I'm just going to weld our hinge on, and then when I cut the other 3 sides, it'll hinge perfectly. Now there isn't going to be a stop over there. I'll probably weld a little stop on after we get that done so that when it swings shut, it just stays shut. I don't know if I'm going to make some kind of a latch or not, but this is supposed to be a quick, easy project, not a long, drawn out, you know. So, might not even make a latch. I might just put weld a little tab or rebar on there so when you close it, it can't go past closed. And that may just be what it is. I don't know. Figure it out when we get there. So let's get on this. Now, one way I have learned to make a straighter edge with a plasma when you're trying to semi-freehand is to get yourself a straight edge. So I'm going to use this straight edge, then right down this line, and cut us a slot. Got a fire in the barrel! Fire in the barrel! A couple leaves in there. That'll be fine. So now that we've welded our hinge on there, I'm going to stand this barrel up and I am going to plasma out the rest of our door. Perfect working height. Who doesn't like to sit down on the job? Now, if you're getting old like me, you probably already got a pair of these laying around, but I recommend with welding, I always have a tendency to be trying to have my face a little too close to what I'm welding, so I recommend going out and getting you a couple of, I don't know, 1.5, 1, 2 power, whatever's comfortable for you. Reading glasses, you can put them on underneath your welding helmet, and then you don't feel like you need your face near as close to what you're welding, because you can see a lot better. This edge is going to be kind of a tricky one because I don't have a straight edge to follow. Well, we'll see what we can do without shaking these lights here out. See how well my freehand game is. Alright guys, so it took me maybe 10 minutes to do this. I came up with a good latch idea here. I was going to consult the interwebs like I usually do, but I didn't actually need to. I went to my bench and I happened across a short piece of angle iron. I cut it in half, made sure the hole was big enough for a piece of rebar, and my plan is I'm just going to weld this right here. Bam, bam. Now I've bolted the two together so I know this center hole will line up, and then I've taken a piece of our rebar and bent a little angle on it so it'll slide right through, and that'll hold that shut. And it's even got a little handle on the side. And then on the door, I've bent this little handle. I'm either going to weld it on like this or like this, like that. I don't know. We'll figure that out when I get to doing it. Now remember guys, everything I've been doing so far with this welder, you could have done with sheet metal screws. So you don't have to have a welder. One thing to remember, even when you're welding something, it doesn't really matter. It's still good practice, especially when you're welding like rusty crap and different kinds of metal materials together. You can learn quite a bit and kind of get good at it. That way, I don't know, or at least get efficient at it. So when you're working on that SEMA project, you already know what you're doing. They'll say, wow, how'd you get so good? You say, well, I practiced on the burn barrel. An old Chrysler LeBaron, 4 mini bikes, and a garden tractor. And I perfected my skills. Boom. Alright guys, so now I'm just going to cut a couple of slots in the bottom of the barrel with my angle grinder here, just so water can get out. I was gonna drill some holes or cut some holes with the plasma cutter, but I figured I'll just put that stuff away. And this wheel's about had enough, so I'm just gonna cut a couple of slots in it. That's probably good enough. All right, guys, so I got it all assembled here. Now we've got this nice little latch handle for our swing door, so we can clean the ashes out. And in here, we've got our grate that we cut, and we've got our 2 pieces of rebar going across there to help hold it in there. And I cut a couple of slots in the bottom of that. Now, a lot of people I've seen have cut the top off their barrel and just let it fall down in the bottom. Then they've got 2 layers of sheet metal in the bottom, so it rusts out slower. It's a great idea. I couldn't really do that with this barrel because it had a removable lid, and the lid had a bunch of weird shapes in it and bungs and all kinds of crap. So later on, if that bottom rusts out, I'll just cut me a piece of sheet metal out of something, old dryer or washing machine or something, and toss down in the bottom of there. So all we've got left to do now is knock some air holes in this thing. All right, guys, so I've seen people drill holes, beat holes in stuff with chisels and all kinds of stuff. Normally I just use my plasma cutter and cut a couple of holes in there, but I already put it away. So what I've decided to do is I just kind of went crisscross so that I'm gonna have an even number of holes. And I just took my triangle, traced it. I'm gonna take my cut-off wheel. I'm gonna cut a groove. It'll be pointed up towards the top of the burn barrel, and then I can just take ball peen hammer, smack it once. It's just gonna tip in a little bit, and that's gonna allow it to get some air in there and that fire to burn really good. It's also gonna keep water from running down into the bottom of the barrel and rust in the bottom of the barrel out, because that'll be tipped in, kind of like a shingle on a roof. So yeah, we're gonna get that done. Good enough. Now, one thing I did think of, guys, when I was bringing this over here and kind of setting this up, if you didn't have a welder and you just sheet metal screwed the angle iron and all that stuff on there, then when your barrel rusts out, you could just unscrew it, use your hardware in your new barrel. So, I mean, that is a bonus to not using a welder. All right, guys, so that's our how to build a burn barrel quick, fast, and in a hurry with no money project. I hope you guys got some ideas of what to do, what not to do. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments what I screwed up, or maybe this is good enough. Let me know. Yeah, if you're new here and you haven't seen some of our other content, make sure you go check it out. I'll have it posted around here somewhere. And like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. What's that noise? Is that a Bigfoot over there? I wonder if he wants to do burnouts. I gotta go. Peace.